Can y'all hear us now?
Yes, ma'am. Will you introduce yourself for the record, please?
Deputy Marcel.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. And I'm going to introduce the panel today. Mr. Tillis is on my left, Ms. Ledoux is on my right, and my name is Ms. Stapleton. So at this time, would you please introduce yourself, Mr. Lewis, and with your DOC number?
Kentrell Lewis, 413-900.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, I wanted to ask you, did you get a questionnaire about today's revocation hearing? That you answered questions yes or no and signed?
Yes, ma'am.
Got that?
Yes,
Okay. According to that questionnaire, you are ineligible for appointed counsel. You do understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you appoint an attorney for yourself?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. I'll be handling your case today, so I'm going to read your rule violations. Number 2, you failed to report to the office as instructed. Now, rule violation 3, you failed to report to your current physical address. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Number 2, you failed to report to the office as instructed. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Okay. Now, any of this you can do guilty with a statement. So,
well, I would like to do guilty with a statement on that one, ma'am.
all right. All right, I'll put it down. You failed to report to your current physical address. Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement.
Can you repeat that again?
Yes. You failed to report your current physical address. Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement.
Guilty with a statement.
Okay. Number 4, you were arrested on the following: Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office on 4/21/2025 for the charge of bank fraud felony, which was a felony, theft under $1,000, which was a misdemeanor, and failure to register and notify as a sex offender, and also in Lafourche Parish for failure to register and notify as a sex offender on 5/28/24. Pending matters have pretrial on 10/23/25 Lafourche and 10/13/25 trial in Terrebonne. So how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement?
I'll do guilty with a statement.
Okay. Number 8, you failed to report to sex offender class as instructed and required. Guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement.
Guilty.
Okay. You failed to report, number 9, you failed to report and register your current address or employment. Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement.
Guilty with a statement.
Okay. Number 10, you are currently $1,449 in arrears on your supervision fees. Guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement.
Guilty with a statement.
Okay. Okay, so at this time, go ahead and give me your statement for number 2. You failed to report to the office as instructed. What is
throughout my time that I was on the streets and keeping with my parole officer, I went to the office just about every time, man. I didn't show. I always made phone contact with him. I always kept in touch by phone. So I mean, let him know all my whereabouts and what was going on with me.
okay? And you failed to report to your current physical address.
And that's another thing. My address was always the same, and I stayed at that address. I had a little complication going on for a while, and I contacted my parole officer and I told him my situation. And my address has always been the same, man. I always was there. Now he probably showed up at my house like once or maybe, and I wasn't at the time because I was working in Terrebonne Parish, and I'm staying in Lafourche. I didn't have no vehicle at the time, so I couldn't get back and forth on time to make my home appearance when he's been showed up between the office hours.
Okay, now, all right. So you weren't at home at that address at different times, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. But I always remained there.
Where would you have been? Were you working?
I was
Something-
working. I was working. Yes, ma'am. I was working in Terrebonne Parish, and I
Didn't
didn't
know
have no
that?
vehicle.
So, and you had no vehicle?
No, ma'am.
So
So I
were you
couldn't get
coming back and forth every day?
just about. Sometimes it'll be late.
Okay, so there's no way for him to find you at home then,
And
correct?
right. And all like I said, ma'am, I always contacted him by phone. I always try to call him and tell him, hey, Mr. Mathern, this was going on, this was going on.
I'm writing that down. All right, and number 4, you were arrested in the following: Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office 42125 for the charge of bank fraud, which was a felony, theft under $1,000, which is a misdemeanor, failure to register and notify as a sex offender, and also in Lafourche Parish for failure to register and notify as a sex offender on 5/28/24. Pending matters have pretrial on 10/23/25, Lafourche, and 10/13/25, trial in Terrebonne. What's your statement on that?
With this failure to register as a sex offender, I wasn't at first sure how they came about, but on September 8, 2023, Lafourche finally found the paperwork that I did report to the office and registered, which my registration on into a year. It's a year, it's annual. So they found that, and then by me working in Terrebonne Parish, I was supposed to tell them, notify them, but I wasn't aware of that. All the years I've been, in compliance with it, I never knew I was supposed to contact the parish that I was working in as well. So all that came about. But when I go to court, I talk to my lawyer. Man, my lawyer got a situation. When I go back to court, all that matter gonna get dismissed. And the bank fraud, somebody wrote me a check while I was start working for the check. I deposited check into my bank account, withdrew the money. Somehow the checks came back unreturned. They say unreturned, and they had me in the real. And we're gonna get that matter taken care as well.
Right, so you're saying that when you go to trial, you'll be able to straighten all this out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
State that again. I didn't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, can you restate what you just said to us slower?
The
you know,
check, yeah,
about the check. You got a check.
Yes, I had got a check from through employer, and I deposited it into my bank account. When I withdrew the money, times later, they say the bank contacted me and said the checks came back unreturned. And now they finally figured out the situation. But like I said, when I go to court, I will have the matter taken care of.
Okay, so was the person that wrote you that check with insufficient funds, were they charged with anything?
They paid the bank as well.
So
I
they
don't
did,
know. Ma'am?
so they did pay the money?
Yes, ma'am. The money has been cleared. So when I get in court, the charge will be taken care of.
Okay, you failed to report to sex offender class as instructed and required under violation number 8. You said you're guilty of that, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I did miss one class.
Okay. And then violation 9, you failed to report and register your current address and employment.
Right. Because I wasn't aware. I didn't know that that was a requirement. I never was told that at that time. Out of all the years I've been on parole, I never really knew once I work in another parish that I had to notify this parish of that.
Okay, on 5/22 of 2024, Herman Mathern states, I also informed the person that you were with that the offender needs to register at his place of residence, work, and school. Okay, so, and then previously you were told that you have to go register in Terrebonne. I have his notes. From every time he goes and talks with you, they write up notes, and I'm reading. So you were told that you had to register. Okay.
Yeah, at the last minute, man, when I found that out, if the notes in there, Terrebonne do have a record of me calling them and notifying them after I was notified. But like when I first was released, I never knew nothing about it till late in May. At that time I had been home like a few months, and I've been working and been working. In the middle of it, then he hit me, and I did notify him. But at first, I didn't have no knowledge of that.
Okay, number 10, you are currently $1,449 in arrears on your supervision fees.
Right. Well, Mr. Mathern told me as long as I would go to the classes and pay for the classes, that he wasn't worrying about the parole supervision fees. That was his words.
Okay, I'm gonna request that we go into executive session.
A second.
Stapleton,
Here.
Tillis,
Yeah.
Ledoux.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, can
Ma'am,
you, okay. We've reconvened from executive session and discussed, matters concerning this case. My vote today is to revoke you because actually on every single thing, you're guilty. If some of the things are going to trial, you say that it'll be explained at trial, but you're guilty of it. So, based upon rule violation 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, and 10, I'm gonna revoke your, parole.
I thought that no decision on Mr. Mathern and other agents had me under the impression that
Voting right now, so Ms. Ledoux.
So, based on the evidence of you and your guilty plea, I find you have violated the conditions of your parole. My vote is to revoke.
Mr. Tillis.
My vote also is to revoke, for violations 8 and 9.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, today your parole has been revoked. That's been the decision of the board.
I apologize.
Okay, ma'am, will you introduce yourself again?
I am Deputy Jennifer Exnicious.
Okay, and, sir, Mr. Shelby, will you introduce yourself with your name and your DOC number for the record, please?
Call Dwayne Shelby, 616-813.
Okay, and today on the panel, you will have Mr. Tillis, that's on my left, and Ms. Ledoux, that's on my right, and my name is, Ms. Stapleton. Okay, so we're gonna, begin the process of your, parole hearing.
Okay.
Parole revocation. Okay. I want to know, do you have a parole revocation questionnaire? Where it asks you some questions and you signed it at the bottom with the date?
No,
You have that? Okay, based upon the questionnaire that I'm looking at, you're ineligible for appointed counsel. Did you hire an attorney for yourself?
no,
Okay. All right, just needed to know that. Okay, so today, you are in violation of rule number 4. It states you violated this condition of parole by allegedly committing the offense of second-degree murder This new felony activity resulted in your arrest in Lafourche Parish on or about 1/12/2023. A jury trial is set for 9/22/25. Do you plead guilty or not guilty with a statement with that?
Not guilty. I had nothing to do with none of this. Just in the innocent.
Guilty with a statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, tell me what happened that you got involved with this.
I was never involved with it.
How'd you get arrested for it?
I still don't know. They're saying people think, guess, and assume that I was supposed to be there or something, but I wasn't.
Mhm. And it's gonna go to trial. It says,
Yes, ma'am. We'll go to trial in, I think, in 2 days.
yeah, Agent Collin provided a true bill of indictment in the charge of second-degree murder filed in Terrebonne Parish. The offender was indicted by a grand jury, January of 2023. Probable cause was found for the offender violated the conditions of parole based upon that information. Does either of my colleagues have any questions?
Yeah, I could, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning, sir.
Tell me what happened, or tell me what it is they're alleging. So you said you're not guilty, so they're saying you were somewhere at a certain time and you're saying you weren't. Tell me what happened.
All right. They're trying to say I was at a barber shop at the time. Like, supposed to be getting my hair cut or whatever, but I wasn't there at the time that they're trying to say I was there. So they trying to, you got a couple people, they're not actually saying that I did nothing. They just trying to say that they think that I did something. Like, that's what this whole thing is. Like, this whole situation is evolving around one of my cousins. And that's why I'm trying to figure out, I don't even know why I'm still sitting here. Like, I don't know.
Someone was killed.
Yeah, it was one of my cousins.
Okay, your cousin was killed and they're trying to say that you did it.
Like, they just trying to say that I was supposed to be there at the time all this happened. Like, I'm supposed to know something about it or something like that.
Okay, so when you say they, you're referring to the police?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you got other people like people who they're considered as witnesses. They're not saying that I've done anything. They're just saying that I was supposed to be somewhere around them, but I wasn't. Like, they said they going off of somebody's car that doesn't belong to me.
And you say you go to trial in 2 days?
Yes, sir.
Well, this will be all solved. I have no more questions.
Ms. Legere? Okay, well, I'm prepared to vote at this time. Are my colleagues prepared to vote? Mr. Sheldon, based upon the grand jury's findings, I'm gonna find you in violation of your parole and rule number 4 as indicated. Ledoux?
I concur that my vote as well to revoke based on preponderance of evidence of violation.
Mr. Ellis?
In light of he's going to be in court in 2 days, I'm going to concur with my colleagues to deny.
Okay. Today you have been found that you are in violation and your parole is revoked. And that concludes our hearing. And we will be leaving this facility at 10:15.
Good morning.
Good morning.
With the staff at Iberia Parish Jail, please introduce yourself, please, for the record.
Deputy Brittany Moore.
Okay. And please introduce yourself, Mr. Antoine, for the record, with your DOC number.
My name is Tyson Antoine, DOC number 563963.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna read some information into the record and we'll ask you to verify it. And then you can say guilty or not guilty with a statement, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I did want to ask you, do you have your questionnaire? It's a checklist and you've signed it at the bottom. Do you have that?
No, ma'am.
Can somebody show him that questionnaire, please? Because we have it.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning. Good morning. My name is Harry Daniels.
Oh, I see.
I'm counsel for Mr. Antoine. I represent Mr. Antoine in the underlying offenses that relate to the revocation.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I didn't notice your name. Okay, so that takes care of that. So, all right, well, I'm going to read the following violations to you. Is that right? Oh, Mr. Tillis, do you have the violations? You can read them.
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Tyson. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
We have quite a few violations, so what I'll do is just read one and let you plead guilty, not guilty, or with a statement. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have rule number 4. You fail to refrain from criminal activities by being in possession of assaulting someone with a firearm on 12/19/2023. Subsequently, a warrant was issued for your arrest on 12/20/2023. And you were charged with aggravated assault with a firearm, possession.
A background noise there.
And possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The charges are pending under docket number 24-530. A pretrial conference, 9/3/2025. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or with a statement?
Not guilty, yeah.
Not guilty? Okay. Number 4, on 6/12/2024, you again failed to refrain from criminal activities by battery on a person and possession of a firearm. Subsequently, you were arrested by the Ibra Parish Sheriff's Office and charged with simple battery and felony possession of a firearm. The charges are pending under docket number 24-4429. A trial conference 9/3/2024. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Number 4, you failed to refrain from use of illegal drugs. You tested positive for THC, amphetamines, methamphetamines, and cocaine on 6/12/2024 when you were booked into the Ibra Parish Jail. The following arrests for the above charges. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Number 5, you failed to refrain from owning or possessing firearms on 12/19/2023, as evident by a warrant charging you with aggravated assault with a firearm and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Number 5, you again fail to refrain from owning or possessing a firearm when you were arrested on 6/12/2024 and charged with a felon in possession of a firearm. All these charges are pending. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Number 10, you failed to make a monthly supervisional fee of payment and or in the arrear of $1,143 with the last payment received on 6/13/24. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, does the attorney want to say anything or?
Yeah,
Yes, I do. I think for the purpose of the 612 case, I believe that's docket number, give me that docket number. That's docket number, the docket number 2024-529. He was only charged with, although the initial arrest was for a felony possession of a firearm, the only charge that's currently pending is a simple battery for the June 12th, 2024 offense. So I think there's allegations that there was a firearm, but he only has been formally charged by the district attorney's office with a simple battery for the June 12th, 2024.
okay, and the felon in possession of a firearm, that's been dropped by the DA's office? In that particular case?
Yes, ma'am, in that particular case, in that document.
Okay, and that was the 6/12/2024.
Yes, ma'am.
12/23.
Yeah, what about, let's start up with, yeah. Well, 12/19/2023 and 12/20, assaulting someone with a firearm. What about that? And there again, aggravated assault with a firearm, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
Those charges are currently pending. There's a trial date of September 29th, 2025 for that.
December 29th?
September 29th.
That was September 29th. Okay,
He pled not guilty to all charges.
yeah, he did. He pled not guilty to everything. What about number 4, where was talking about that he tested positive for amphetamines, methamphetamines, cocaine on 6/12/24 and was booked into parish prison for illegal drugs. What about that one?
I believe Mr. Antoine is, there's no formal charges for that. I think that was at the time of booking. I think Mr. Antoine just indicated he pled not guilty to that. I'm not sure what kind of test that was to even challenge it or make a comment on it. I'm not sure if that was just a presumptive positive test or was that a formal drug test or hair sample test that was sent to be tested.
Okay, and then we're gonna go to number 5. That he failed to refrain from owning or possession of a firearm in 12/19/2023 as evident by the warrant charging him with aggravated assault of a firearm, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. What about that one?
Mr. Antoine has pled, and I'll get through that. That case also has a trial date of September 29th, 2025. I believe that's docket number, let me make sure this is the correct docket number. That is docket number, give me one second. My computer's running a little slow. That is docket number 2024-0530.
Is that what you got? 0530? Okay. All right, so let me turn to the next page. And you again failed to refrain from owning and possession of firearm when you were arrested on 6/12/2024 and charged with felony and possession of a firearm. All of these charges, it says, are pending. Is that going to trial?
No, that's incorrect. So the trial, that's what I spoke about earlier. So that June 12th, 2024 arrest date is related to docket number 2024-529. That is the same docket number that he's only been charged with simple battery for the June 12th, 2024 case.
All right, so that's been dropped, the firearms in that case?
Yes, ma'am. There's no firearm charge pending in that case.
Okay.
So it's simple battery or just, he said simple battery?
Yeah, simple
Yes, sir.
battery.
Simple battery.
Four here. Okay, and then one more, and then we're gonna go to New Iberia probation and parole officer. It says you failed to make your monthly supervision fees and you are in arrears of $1,143 with the last payment received on 6/13/2024. Wait, not that, any statement?
I think that's clear, and if there's no record of making payment, Mr. Antoine
Okay.
can make a payment on that.
So that would be guilty?
Mr. Antoine, did you make any payments?
I made a payment right before I came in, but I think I was in arrear like 2 or 3 payments. Not $1,100. I don't think I was in arrear $1,100 so.
Okay. All right. Let's see, Mr. Daniels, is there anything else you'd like to say? Because I'm fixing to ask for a comment from the probation, Ms. Woods.
Not at this time, no ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Woods, what would you like to say, ma'am?
Yes, good morning, Board. Anna Woods with Probation and Parole, the New Iberia District. I am Mr. Antoine's supervising officer. I don't have too much to add that hasn't already been discussed. The only thing I can really say is that I only supervised him for about 7 to 8 months before he became incarcerated again. I am familiar with the area where the pending charges that allegedly occurred in December of 2023 took place. It is in very close proximity to where Mr. Antoine lives. It's pretty much, like right across the street from where he lives. So I did find that interesting. Due to the severity of the pending charges and the fact that probable cause was found at the preliminary hearing, our recommendation is to revoke. He is a 4th felony offender.
Okay, and are you Ms. Woods or?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Woods. Thank you so much. All right. Does anybody have some more questions?
Ms. Woods, the drug test was administered by the jail when he was booked?
Yes, ma'am. When they get arrested and brought to Iberia Parish Jail, they always drug screen them. And then I got that information about the positive drug screen from his initial presentment or confinement order that was provided to the court. So I'm not sure who specifically drug screened him, but that's where I got that information from.
Right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have no more questions.
I have no questions. We're prepared to vote?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chillis.
My vote today is to revoke in light of all of the rule violations 4, 4, 4, 5, 10.
Okay. Ms. Ledoux.
My vote is to revoke. There's multiple violations that I note, and so I find him in violation of parole supervision.
I concur with both of my colleagues. I find you in violation of your parole supervision, and my vote is to revoke also. So that concludes our hearing, and your role has been revoked, sir.
All right, let's talk about that. This session out of Orleans had some turns that could have come straight out of a courtroom drama. Misunderstandings, conflicting testimony, and the panel trying to sift through a mess of details to get to the truth. The Louisiana Board panel, led by Karen Stapleton with Jerry Ledoux and Chuck Tillis, kept the whole thing balanced. They showed patience where things got confusing and held a steady, professional line when the stories started veering off course. Their style was firm, but not unfriendly, and when it came time for decisions, they spoke clearly and left no doubt about what conditions would follow. The first case, involving Howard Jacks, revolved around allegations of a dating partner battery. Now, his demeanor was composed. He denied the physical allegations outright and stuck to a version of events that sounded more like a messy breakup than anything violent. What complicated it was the police report, which documented bruises and a statement that he'd hit her multiple times. That could have gone badly for him, but then the alleged victim herself testified and completely contradicted the police notes. She insisted it never got physical, and that any earlier statements came from her being emotional, grieving family losses, and not being on her medication. To the board's credit, they pressed her gently but firmly. How did the police even get called? Why would they write down injuries? Why was there talk of fear? She doubled down, saying she'd never been afraid and he'd never hurt her. It's not often you see that kind of reversal play out live, and the board was careful not to sensationalize it. They imposed no contact conditions and required child exchanges through safe third-party locations. It was a compromise, believing the updated testimony but protecting everyone involved from more conflict. We also heard from Jack's aunt, who gave heartfelt context about his upbringing, hardships, and efforts to be a present parent. It added humanity to the hearing and reminded everyone that parole cases are about real lives, not just files and charges. The overall tone was calm, with the occasional moment of awkward crosstalk when the witness jumped in out of turn and had to be muted. Still, the board never lost control of the room, and by the end, the conditions were clear, and Jax walked out without revocation. Then came the case of Darrell Brazil, which went in a different direction. He struggled to defend himself on technical violations, missed reporting, unclear living arrangements, arrears, and issues tied to sex offender registration. Unlike Jax, Brazil didn't have witnesses stepping in to clean up the story. His explanations about working late, not knowing he had a new parole officer, and insisting he stayed at his sister's house just didn't line up with the documented notes. The board gave him plenty of chances to clarify, but in the end, the evidence stacked against him was too strong. His body language and speech were defensive but not hostile. He wanted to be heard, but the panel needed proof, not just insistence. That contrast with the previous case showed how demeanor and corroboration can tilt things. The atmosphere across both hearings was professional and steady, even with emotional elements in play. The panel handled themselves with patience, sprinkled in some plain-spoken reminders about responsibility, and kept the proceedings on track without letting things spiral. In short, one defendant walked away with strict conditions instead of revocation, while the other faced revocation after the evidence outweighed his explanations. Two very different outcomes, but both showing the board's consistent effort to stay fair and measured. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one,